boards where grooming buffs buzz. And what was he really looking to buy anyway, that guy? Hope in a bottle? If so, what was he hoping for? A smell that would make him feel rich, thin, suave? Or was he simply longing to be pleasantly, unisexually self-scented in a tonka beanish, tobacco leafish sort of way? After all, according to a study in the International Journal of Cosmetic Science, a man's alteration of his natural body odor can make him feel more self-confident, which makes others perceive him as such. A few weeks after that chance run-in, I decided to go looking for answers to some of these questions, to explore, however serendipitously, the major and minor mysteries that settle around why and how we buy what we buy. I would circulate no formal surveys. I wouldn't hide behind potted plants to videotape customers shopping. I'd commission no brain scans. There was already plenty of that out there. Rather, I'd take a determined, if random, walk down both sides of Consumption Street. There's the sell side, as I'll call it, where a vast army is aligned against you, me, and the big guy panning for Tom Ford's new fragrance. Retailers, marketers, advertising agencies, consumer researchers, online buzz collectors, and academics, a conspiracy of manipulators, as some, I'll call them buy scolds, see them. Then I'd cross over to the buy side. That's our side, the customer side, where I'd search for some sort of unified theory as to what makes us tick. And I would keep at it until, as happens on every shopping expedition, I ran out of time and patience. But why me? To put my personal credit cards on the table, I am not now, nor have I ever been, a shopping junkie or a career marketing guru or a dyspeptic critic of consumption. The three usual suspects who churn out blog posts and books about shopping and buying. What I am is a husband and a father, a breadwinner, which means I take a proprietary and sometimes overbearing interest in how my wife and kids choose to disperse what hard-earned money I bring to the party. I am also, of course, a consumer myself, sometimes reckless, sometimes tight as a tick. My spending habits vary moment to moment, as we'll see. In fact, I actually think of myself as a more or less typical consumer, even though, as we'll also see, there's little reason to believe such a creature exists. I grew up, typically enough, in a middle-class Philadelphia neighborhood during the 1950s, the so-called happy-go-lucky years, when the sell side held out the promise that our collective future would be one long ribbon of material prosperity, an endless skyway of unprecedented consumer abundance. Yet by the time the 60s rolled around, I came to question, typically, whether that highway wasn't in truth a treacherous toll road. Millions of people, minorities and the rural poor especially, were denied access to that endless skyway. And those fortunate enough to ride the road paid a heavy price for the privilege. Soullessness fueled by the purposeless acquisition of useless stuff piled on more useless stuff. The 70s brought a turning point. I found myself working on the fringe of the sell side. As the editor of a glossy magazine, Esquire, my salary was underwritten by advertising revenue. Page after page of ads for men's apparel, cars, cigarettes, liquor, and grooming products. While I myself didn't peddle those ads, I did spend a fair amount of time marching up and down Madison Avenue with the shiny-shoed, cunningly charming men and women whose job it was to sell space. My role was to convince agency media buyers that their ad pages would be seen by hundreds of thousands of educated, opinion-shaping, trend-setting readers, yuppies, remember? Whose affinity for literary nourishment was matched only by their quest for a cool and affluent lifestyle. By the late 1990s, by now too old to recognize the 20-year-old hotties featured in magazines such as Esquire, yet still spry enough to quaff the advertised potables, I found myself most unexpectedly working in the swollen belly of the sell-side beast. For nearly 5 years, I served as creative director at Land's End, the direct-to-consumer clothing company. No matter that I'd brought zero experience to the apparel, catalog, or retail business.